Yeah, that happened the last time I talked about this. I forgot to activate the microphone. So this video's been going for a long time and I have no idea what I was saying. Because I thought it was being recorded. I'd have to go all the way back to, what is all that? But, man. The last time I tried to make this video, I also forgot to activate the sound, so it's just pictures, but I don't know how to, because I just talked for an hour almost, and then now, okay, I'll just start here. So here's an example of a film and book with the basis of non-fiction. But in fiction, the roles are reversed. And that's what makes it fiction. So here is something from what I'm arguing here. I was just talking about Baltimore, and it being the closest city to Washington. And Washington would be like Dallas, Baltimore would be like Fort Worth, and the next closest cities are going to be Philadelphia, Richmond, and whatever is over here in Delaware, and Pittsburgh this way. And in this direction, it's going to be Columbus, Lexington, Charlotte, so there's sort of twin cities here, Washington and Baltimore. Similar to how a lot of people are familiar with Dallas and not very familiar with Fort Worth. And what I recently discovered this movie and book. Well, not discovered, just looked into recently. And apparently, I had no idea it was based on real events. There's some videos of Charles de Gaulle from the 1940s. It might be this video. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. It might be this one. That says 65. I'm looking for like a 1940s. I was saying something about professors, how when professors talk, they talk with such an authority, like they've known these concepts that they're mentioning for decades. But when I talk about stuff, it's only for the novelty of it, because it's such a new concept to me. Like this fiction versus non-fiction, to me, is a new concept that I realized that's... Here's the video I'm looking for, I think. No? Oh well. But now when I look at fiction, I look at it in reverse, as far as male and female. I just take the male and imagine that is... I've never seen men who act like that, but I have seen women who act like that. And when I see female characters, I say, I don't know any women who act like that. but I do know men who look like that or act like that. And so it's just, that's what makes it reality, is reversing that. But here's a case of a fictional novel and movie with a basis in reality of real world events and characters and people. A lot of it is probably dramatized for the fiction aspect. So when I was reading about this here, I was reading about this on Wikipedia, and this very short paragraph here in his trial is summarized in 5 brief statements. I was like, wait, I've heard this dramatized before in the movie with Al Pacino of Scarface. So I'm going to search Scarface. What scene? Car bomb scene. I don't know. So here I had in a video before with the audio muted. This is what I was talking about. So the idea, the quotes from the scene says no civilians or whatever, and stuff like that. There's something about a car, firing on a car, and no civilians or something like that. That's just what it says right here. And that it's more than thinking. It's like I almost know that that's what this scene from the movie Scarface, very well known. Here's the car and the civilians. Right here, the civilians. And it's a dramatization of what happened here. Because what happened here in France in 1962, this happened in France in 1962, and I'm sure the entire world was very captivated by these events happening here in 1962. But then what happened in the USA and Dallas in 1963 completely overshadowed what happened there. And this was just a year later. There's even a TV series called November, or is it called November 1963? That's the name of like a TV series from a few years ago, I think. Oh, yeah, it's a novel, and it was turned into a TV miniseries. So that's just how it's as well known as something like 9/11, where it can just be like use numbers to describe an event. So if I said France 1962, 99% of the world's population is not going to know what I'm talking about. But if this hadn't happened in 63, if this had not have happened right now, if I had said France 1962, everyone would know about it. Everybody would be like, oh yeah, the thing that happened in France in 1962. But 99% of people have never heard of this. And I'm just assuming because I had never heard of it. But then there's also the Scarface scene where it's like Baltimore. And so the comparison of Baltimore and Washington, just like they are Dallas and Fort Worth, Hancock, Scarface, I don't know. Talking to Elvira at the Babylon Dance Club. He's like, Baltimore? Anyways, he's like, what? What's Baltimore? I've never heard of that place. And so everyone else that watches is like, yeah, like, what's Baltimore about? It's like the Wayne's World scene with Delaware. Wayne's World, Delaware. Like, the joke here is that everybody knows they're traveling through time and space. It's like web surfing. He says, we could go to New York. We're in New York. I got a gun, let's go to a Broadway show. Or prefer Hawaii. And, you know, luau's. Or Texas. Everybody knows Texas. Talks about whatever, the Alamo, or going to Delaware. It's like, what is Delaware known for? It's just like, hi, I'm in Delaware. It's not known for anything, like Baltimore. Because they're so close to Washington. So, Baltimore is France 1962, or Fort Worth, as Washington is to November 1963 or Dallas. And there's more. This trial summarized in five things. I don't even really have an opinion on this. I mean, it's just so self-evident. All of these things they're just so evident. Well, oh, so here, this website is an ebook website, and there's some Edgar Allan Poe stuff in this. And Hall, Baltimore is the fictional author of the fictional. He's a fictional mystery writer or thriller novel or something. But Francis Ford Coppola made this movie, and it has these dream sequences that are really realistic. Never seen anything like that. So there's Edgar Allan Poe. Like, he's having a dream about Edgar Allan Poe. Right there. It was just briefly flashed. I don't know. I think I watched part of that movie at some point. And I think it's because of this. It's the second most popular book on the ebook website. Edgar Allan Poe here. Is this the entire novel here? That doesn't seem like a very long novel. That must be like a short story or something. And I think I pulled up the Wikipedia. Oh yeah, I already went through this. Reminded me of that 1950s song right here, The Green Door. I know that this book was um, this was turned into a movie or something. Yeah, 2007 film, and a 1990 film, and a game, and a lot of other things. So it was written in the year 700. What other Old English literature is there? Oh well. So here must be where the dragon is so common in English culture, English speaking culture. So I got two things. I think it's called phosphoric illumination and Tomb Raider 2 intro. So first I'll do Tomb Raider 2 intro. That's a YouTube search. Here's the cinematic intro of Tomb Raider 2. The Great Wall of China. The guy who looks like a dragon. Looks like he's got reptile dragon eyes, but that's a man. Is that a man or was that the dragon? Because there's a dragon. That's a biblical phrase right here, with these arrows right here, how there's so many. Arrows, artillery arrows, right there. I don't know, I wouldn't be able to find it in the Bible. But here, the dragon. And there an arrow in the dragon. Or a knife or something. And so he pulls out the knife. And it defeats the dragon. I don't know why, I just watched that. But here I'm searching phosphoric illumination. These are like the coolest fireworks. Um, Anyways, back to the story. So see, I just knew that a lot of that, the basis of that Tomb Raider intro that I showed was going to be in this. I just knew that because of Dragon. And the reason that Dragon is well known in English culture is because of this Beowulf. And this is the third most well known English culture novel, according to this website or whatever. Like the bestseller list. So Mound is like a big, it's not an actual character in the thing, but apparently it's important because here's the Western Mound, an actual place. And that's with these illumination artillery rounds. That's what's going on here, is it's like a giant firework at night. And that's the mound in the background that is illuminated. And this technology has been around, even though only 30,000 people have seen these. It's just not well known, but this stuff is just not well known. What's going on here? It's lighting up the night, not the night sky, but the ground at night with this illumination. A lot of people are just unaware that something like that exists. But the technology here for doing this with just a little parachute and burning phosphorus, that's all that is needed. And that technology has been around for a long time. I'll search in books to see if it was ever written about a long time ago. They probably had it. It was just called something else. Tried just illumination in the 1800s. Here in 1816, it says a great illumination was ordered. At night blazed forth in general illumination. That's from 1832. And like when it talks about the rocket's red glare, they're talking about illumination. At night blazed forth in general illumination. That means there were a lot of fireworks um, just lighting up the ground at night. But people have never really, this has never been, even in modern times, this isn't a well-known thing. It's never been well-known unless people have actually seen this. Like how cool it is. But anyways, back to the story here. That's what this mound is. Talking about, you know, because there's always a surprise for in battles. People are always surprised. They've never heard of this illumination stuff. So when the fireworks at night, people who are hunkered down on a hill find out about it, you know, the hard way. So already at the very beginning of the synopsis, they're talking about the mound, and then the dragon. It says, so the monster Grendel, I don't know if Grendel is the dragon, maybe it's not, but then the giant sword is like that from that video earlier. And Beowulf is mortally wounded in the struggle. And that's what happens at this video. I'll show it again. Tomb Raider. Just in this 2-minute thing, what happens? The dragon. Here's like the giant sword, even though it's just a small one. But he's mortally wounded here. That happens here in just less than a minute. It just seems to be like ancient propaganda for people, you know, for men to join the military. Even in the it sounds like the 700s version of, you know, like a Rambo movie or something. I don't know if I want to read all that. What else? Frankenstein. So here's all the times that Frankenstein is mentioned in the book. It's first mentioned on like page well, it doesn't have a page number, apparently. But it's like almost 20% through the book. The first time Frankenstein is mentioned is this right here. And it's mentioned almost 30 more times. Here it's mentioned again about 30% the way through. So, like, for instance, if I was going to be quizzed on this book, Frankenstein, I would at least, the very least, scan through to see what's it going to say about Frankenstein? Because the questions are most likely going to be about Frankenstein, rather than some side character or something. But is Frankenstein the main character in this? Frankenstein is sort of the idea that in fiction, men are written as women and women are written as men. It's like a Frankenstein. Something about men right here. So it's like he's a male character, so think of it as a woman. And he says, I must arise, good night, my sister. That fits in with what I'm saying about fiction. I don't know. Maybe I'll read it someday. I doubt it though. I really don't know if I'm going to go through all these here. Francis Ford Coppola turned this novel into a movie called Apocalypse Now. You will no doubt meet Mr. Kurtz, and that's about 20-25% away through the novel. He's mentioned 100 times, much more than Frankenstein. He's mentioned in the book Frankenstein. The author is writing about, so Joseph Conrad, so his character Kurtz could also be, like, in Apocalypse Now he's called Colonel Kurtz instead of Mr. Kurtz. So, similar to his initials, Joseph Conrad. So is he writing about himself? Yes. All the characters in every novel are actually about the author himself. That's my argument here. Oh, I think, that's really ironic that I was saying that people are actually writing about other people, or themselves, whatever. And then there was a picture, it was being, whatever, a picture of me was showing up instead. Isn't there something called the Canterbury Tales? What is the Canterbury Tales? So I control C, control T, control V. Oh, that's from 1400s. The Man of Law? I bet those are all good. I don't know. I'll check that out at some point. Whoa. That title, though. Okay, so he's Russian. See? Conrad. With a K. His paternal grandfather and the heroes, both named Conrad. And was known to his family as Conrad rather than Yosef. He was a famous Russian Yosef before Yosef Stalin. Yep. I just have a hunch that the song Secret Agent Man, the 007 series, a lot of its basis is this. That's just a hunch. But it says the basis of this was Charles Dickens' Bleak House. Because of its terrorism theme, is one of the 3 works of literature most cited in the American media 2 weeks after the 9/11 attacks. They produce anarchist literature? That sounds like communist pamphlets and stuff like that. There's a character named Adolf and he's a secret agent. Oh, that's where we get Winnie. Here seems to be a very influential novel. Saturday Night Theater? Oh, that's a BBC radio? I don't know, that's probably good. Something to check out. Lord Jim? I bet that's where we get the name Earthworm Jim. A video game. So here's most definitely where we get Marlowe from Battlefield Bad Company. Because the theme of this is Heart of Darkness. Captain Gustav with the Carl Gustav, also Bad Company, but in real life. Carl Gustav Jung, psychoanalysis, but also Carl Gustav the rocket launcher. Created in 1948. The Carl Gustav. The character Carl is in this one. Is that right? Or Carl right here in the Joseph Conrad novel. There's the Carl part. Here's a Carl character. And then here's the Captain Gustav. And put those together, you get Carl Gustav. Carl Gustav. And that's from Bad Company, where I heard about that. That's the Carl Gustav right there. I think this is why the JFK memorial in Dallas has rivets. It's called the rivets. It's not right. Where is it? This one. There's nothing about rivets. Well, it has these giant rivets there. Here's the rivets. Oh well, I don't really. Perhaps I don't know. I suppose I've had enough of these novels. Um, Maybe part three will be chick flicks, or I'm not sure. I'll go ahead and end this stream. Just got to make sure that the stream recorded. Yeah. Apparently stream recording right now.